Welcome back. What if that old penny you just found in a drawer was actually worth hundreds? Some pennies may look ordinary, but their value is anything but. Stay tuned. We're uncovering the rarest and most valuable pennies you should be looking for right now. First up, 1943 de-steel wheat penny coin condition red rust. This coin holds a unique place in the history of American coinage as it was minted during a time of global conflict when the materials traditionally used for coins were redirected to support the war effort. The 1943 steel penny is the only regular-issue Lincoln wheat penny made primarily from steel and coated with zinc rather than the usual copper composition. The reason behind this temporary change was the urgent need for copper in the production of wartime ammunition and other military equipment during World War II. As a result, the United States Mint produced pennies from steel to help conserve vital copper supplies. The D Mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the three facilities producing steel cents that year, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. Over 217 million steel cents were minted in Denver in 1943, making this a high mintage coin. But despite the high production numbers, many of these coins were subject to rapid deterioration due to their composition. Steel is prone to corrosion, especially when the zinc coating wears off, exposing the bare metal to moisture and oxygen. This specific example is described as having red rust, which suggests that the protective zinc layer has worn away in several areas of the coin, allowing the underlying steel to oxidize. The presence of rust indicates the coin has been exposed to moisture at some point, which is a common fate for many surviving steel cents. The red rust not only diminishes the visual appeal of the coin, but also affects its structural integrity, depending on the severity and depth of the corrosion. On the obverse side of the coin, which features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, details like the hairlines, cheek, and jaw might be partially obscured or pitted due to the rust damage. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" may still be visible, though worn and affected by the rusted surface. The date 1943 and the small D Mint mark located below the date are also likely still visible, but potentially weakened by corrosion. On the reverse, the wheat ears that give this coin its nickname, the wheat penny, may appear flattened or eroded depending on the location and spread of the rust. The central inscription 1 cent and the surrounding legends "United States of America" and "De e pluribus unum" can remain legible in many rusted examples, but often with softened or spotty definition. The steel core gives the coin a slightly lighter weight than the standard copper pennies both before and after 1943, and also a different metallic ring when dropped. Even though this coin once had a silvery finish due to its zinc plating, the corrosion would have caused the surface to turn reddish-brown, and in advanced cases a dark, rough texture develops as the rust eats into the steel. Because of the temporary nature of the material used in 1943 and the susceptibility to rust, coins in poor condition like this one generally do not hold high collector value unless they have rare errors or unique characteristics. However, they still hold historic value due to their connection to World War II and their rarity in pristine condition. Some collectors actively seek out examples with varying degrees of corrosion, or even coins that exhibit both original zinc coating and rusty areas for educational purposes or as part of a complete condition set. One factor that sometimes confuses people is the 1943 steel penny's shiny silver-like appearance when new, which leads some to believe it is a rare coin or made of a precious metal. In reality, while the steel cent is special because of its one-year composition change, it is not rare in circulated condition, especially with rust. That said, there are certain 1943 pennies that are extremely valuable, such as those accidentally struck on copper plankets intended for pre-war cents. These are distinct from the steel versions and are easily differentiated by their brown copper coloring and non-magnetic nature. In circulated condition with red rust, the 1943 D steel penny typically holds nominal value and often sells for a small premium above face value, especially if the damage is extensive. However, coins that have been cleaned in an attempt to remove rust usually suffer further damage and reduced value, as cleaning often creates unnatural surfaces or scratches. For this reason, most collectors prefer coins with original surfaces even if they show rust. Next up we have 1940 for S. Lincoln Wheat penny coin condition circulated. This coin comes from a pivotal time in American history when World War II was still ongoing and the country was producing millions of coins to support a growing wartime economy. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most widely collected coins in the entire Wheat cent series, and the presence of the S mint mark indicates that it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. During the year the San Francisco Mint struck over 200 million of these coins, which makes it relatively common in circulated condition today. However, even with a high mintage, coins from this period can carry significant interest and potential value depending on their condition, historical interest, and collector demand. This specific coin is described as circulated, which means it has passed through the hands of the public and shows signs of wear. In circulated condition, a 1940 for S Wheat penny may display flattened or worn areas on Lincoln's portrait, especially around the cheek hair and jawline. The finer details in Lincoln's coat and the lines in his hair may be smooth or faint due to consistent handling and age. Inscriptions such as "In God We Trust Liberty" and the date 1944 with the small S mint mark underneath remain readable, although some of the sharpness might be lost. On the reverse side, which features two stylized wheat stalks flanking the denomination, 1 cent, the lettering of United States of America and E pluribus unum might show wear or soft edges. The wheat lines themselves can appear faded or partially missing depending on how long the coin remained in circulation. Despite the wear, circulated coins like this still hold value for collectors, especially when they are part of a complete year and mint mark set. Many coin enthusiasts strive to collect one example from each year and each mint, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, so a 1940 for S remains in demand. It is important to note that the composition of the 1940 for penny returned to copper after a brief detour into steel in 1943. Due to the public's dissatisfaction with steel pennies, the U.S. Mint resumed using copper plankets in 1940 for made mostly from recycled shell casings from the war. These casings were melted down and used to mint coins, which makes 1940 for pennies unique in a historical sense. This link between wartime material recycling and everyday coinage adds another layer of appeal for collectors who value historical context. While the 1940 for S penny is not considered rare in general, especially in lower circulated grades, it still holds collector interest, and depending on certain factors, it can command modest premiums in the numismatic market. For example, if the coin has even coloration, original surfaces, and minimal damage, it may be more appealing to collectors. Additionally, coins with strong strikes, even in circulated condition, are preferred since they show better definition of the design elements. One thing to look for on 1940 for S pennies is die variations or mint errors, which can dramatically increase a coin's value. Some examples include double die obverse, where the lettering appears doubled, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These types of errors are sought after and can raise the market value significantly even for coins in lower condition. The historical setting also boosts the appeal of coins like the 1940 for S penny. During that year, many families collected wheat pennies to help with the war effort or to set aside keepsakes during uncertain times. As a result, this coin represents not just a piece of currency, but also a small piece of American life during the 1940s. Its presence in circulation and the wear it shows tell a story of how everyday people used these coins in market stores and homes. For this reason, circulated wheat pennies often carry a personal and nostalgic value that goes beyond their face value. In today's collector market, a 1940 for S Lincoln Wheat penny in circulated condition generally trades for a modest amount, but can still be worth more to those assembling full sets or looking for historically significant coins. The value can range depending on the level of wear, surface condition, and any unique features, but even the most worn examples are still desirable as part of the iconic wheat penny series. Coins like this serve as a reminder of how much history can be held in a small piece of metal, and for many collectors, the 1940 penny is a valued addition to their collection, not just for its date and mint mark, but for its connection to a defining era in American history. Next up we have 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition fine. This coin belongs to an earlier era of United States coinage, a time when America was standing on the edge of the Great Depression and national sentiment was slowly shifting. The 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, and its production total was over 185 million pieces. While that number may seem high today, coins from this year and fine condition are not as commonly found due to its circulation and attrition over time. In fine condition, the coin displays moderate wear from circulation, but still retains many of the major details of its original design. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse remains clear, with the facial features, hair, and ear still recognizable, but with softening in high points like the cheekbone, jaw, and coat. The inscriptions in "God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1929 are still strong, though slight fading may appear, especially near the edges. On the reverse, the wheat ears that frame the denomination 1 cent are worn, but still visible. The lettering United States of America and E pluribus unum may show some smoothing, though all should be readable. The overall look of a fine condition coin from this era carries an attractive vintage feel, with surface, toning, and signs of honest use over many decades. The historical significance of this coin adds greatly to its collectible value. Minted just before the Wall Street crash of October 1929, this penny represents a turning point in American economic history. Coins from this time carry a sense of weight, not just in metal, but in meaning. They circulated during the lead-up to the Great Depression, were used by people in cities and rural towns alike, and witnessed an era of extreme financial hardship and resilience. Holding a 1929 penny in your hand is like touching a small part of that American experience. Even more so in fine condition, because it suggests that despite years of use, the coin was not entirely worn away and still retains its essential design and details. Collectors value wheat pennies like the 1929, especially when they come in better than average circulated condition. Fine is considered a mid-level circulated grade and is generally more desirable than lower grades like good or very good, which show heavier wear and sometimes partial details. Coins in fine condition are often used by collectors building circulated sets who want coins that reflect their age but are still attractive and legible. Additionally, because the 1929 penny has no mint mark, it is identifiable, coming from Philadelphia, which for many years was the primary mint and often considered the default version of any given coin. Another factor to consider is that coins from the 1920s face increasing scarcity as time passes. While they were common when minted, decades of usage loss and coin melting have reduced the number of surviving examples, especially those in decent shape. This natural attrition makes coins like the 1929 penny more interesting for those looking to complete a full century set or a date run of early Lincoln cents. When one finds a 1929 penny in fine condition, it is not just a lucky find, but a reminder of the durable design by Victor David Brenner, whose work has stood the test of time. The coin's copper composition also contributes to its appearance and collectability. Over the years, copper coins tone and develop a variety of surface colors ranging from light red to chocolate brown. A 1929 penny in fine condition may exhibit warm brown tones and some natural spotting that further confirms its authenticity and age. Collectors often seek coins with natural patina that has not been altered by cleaning, since original surfaces hold better market value. Coins that have been cleaned or polished often lose some of their collectible appeal unless professionally restored. In today's collector market, a 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition holds modest but solid value. While it is not considered extremely rare in this grade, it is still desired by those completing Lincoln wheat sets, especially from earlier decades. Value can range depending on eye appeal tone and any minor variety or mint error. There are some known minor die variations in the 1929 wheat penny series, though most examples in fine condition will be valued based on overall preservation and surface quality. Next up we have 1940 Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition good. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, which was the main production facility for U.S. coinage at that time, and it did not use a mint mark. The year 1940 was marked by significant world events as the United States was on the verge of entering World War II. Coins from this era carry an added historical weight as they represent the last years of peace before a major global conflict. In good condition, the coin shows significant signs of wear from many years of circulation. However, even with this, where the major features remain visible. On the obverse side, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln remains intact, though the finer details, like the hair and cheek, may be quite worn and smoothed. The words "In God We Trust Liberty" and the date 1940 are generally readable, though may be faint or worn down around the edges. On the reverse side, the iconic wheat ears that give the wheat penny its name are still present, but heavily flattened. The phrases 1 cent and United States of America can be read, although the edges may show signs of wear, and the lettering could be faint in certain areas. Despite its circulated condition, the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny remains an important collectible for several reasons. First, it represents a continuation of the popular Lincoln cent design created by Victor David Brenner, which began in 1909. The wheat reverse design was still in use during 1940, and collectors of full-date sets from 1909 to 1958 seek out every year and mint mark combination. The 1940 penny is an essential part of that collection, and even in good condition, it can hold sentimental and numismatic value, especially for beginner collectors or those completing a circulated set. Over 500 million of these coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1940, which makes it a common date in the Lincoln wheat penny series. However, that does not make it unimportant. Many of the coins minted in 1940 were used extensively over the next 2 to 3 decades, and many were eventually lost, damaged, or melted. As a result, finding one today, any condition still offers an opportunity to hold a piece of American history in your hand. When one considers the historical backdrop of 1940, with the rise of conflict in Europe and the US preparing for involvement, the coin becomes more than just a monetary artifact. It becomes a snapshot of everyday life during a pivotal time. Collectors often look at coins in good condition as entry points to the hobby. These coins are more affordable, but still offer a full historical and design experience. They are also ideal for educational purposes to introduce new generations to coin collecting without the high cost of mint state examples. For those who are building a full date and mint set of Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1940 no mint mark is a necessary addition and one that is often sought after in all conditions to complete those sets. The copper composition of the coin is another point of interest. Pennies from 1940 were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Over time, copper coins develop a unique patina and surface coloration that can range from bright red in uncirculated coins to deep brown in circulated pieces. A 1940 penny in good condition likely shows this natural darkening, which gives the coin a rich aged look. While not flashy or pristine, the coin carries a quiet dignity that reflects its long journey through the pockets and purses of countless Americans. From a market value perspective, a 1940 Lincoln wheat penny in good condition does not command a high price, but it holds more value than its face amount. While its retail value might range from a few cents to possibly $1 depending on the exact appearance and demand, it still holds more importance to collectors than monetary worth alone. The value also increases if the coin is part of a bulk lot or part of a story-driven collection where the year or condition connects to a personal or historical theme. The coin might also have minor errors or variations that could increase its appeal to collectors. While there are no widely known major errors for the 1940 penny from Philadelphia, some examples may show slight doubling die cracks or planchet flaws. These features, while subtle, can make a coin more desirable for collectors who focus on unique or rare features in circulated coins. In terms of preservation, even a coin in good condition can benefit from proper handling. It should be stored in a dry and clean holder, ideally separated from other coins to avoid further scratches or damage. Keeping the coin safe will ensure that it retains whatever historical and collectible value it carries and may allow it to be passed on as part of a family collection or as a learning tool for future collectors. Next up we have 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark, coin condition bad. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that time did not use a mint mark. Being part of the original Lincoln Wheat penny series, the 1937 version holds historical interest for collectors and historians alike despite its current condition. The Lincoln Wheat penny design, created by Victor David Brenner, began in 1909 and in the 1937 coin fit squarely in the middle of that long production run, which continued until 1958. In bad condition, this coin has experienced significant wear and damage. Many details on the obverse side, which features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, are likely flattened or worn beyond recognition. His facial features, the lines in his hair, and the shape of his coat may be almost completely smooth. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1937 might still be faintly visible, but in many cases these words are partially missing or difficult to read. The reverse side, showing the two wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, is severely faded. The wheat ears themselves may be nearly erased by time and use, and any texture that once gave them depth has likely disappeared. Coins in bad condition are generally referred to as having heavy wear, and many collectors consider them at the lowest end of the collectible scale. However, this does not mean they are worthless. Every coin tells a story, and a coin from 1937 that has survived nearly 90 years is a tangible connection to an earlier time. This coin may have passed through the hands of countless Americans during the Great Depression era. It may have been used to buy goods during a period of great economic hardship and global uncertainty, and it represents part of the everyday fabric of life in the United States during the late 1930s. Even in poor condition, the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark holds value to collectors, especially those who are just starting to build a circulated set. Many young or budget-conscious collectors begin their collections with coins in lower grades because they are more accessible and still allow the collector to complete important date and mint mark combinations. A coin like this may not be a centerpiece, but it plays a vital role in building a full historical timeline of the Lincoln Cent series. Because this coin lacks a mint mark, we know it was produced in Philadelphia, and according to Historical Mint records, over 309 million of these coins were struck that year. While this means it is not a rare date, the passage of time and the wear of daily circulation have made examples in pristine condition much harder to find. On the opposite side, a coin in bad condition like this one serves as a reminder of how these coins were used extensively and not kept aside for collections or savings. It saw the world, likely exchanging hands many thousands of times before ending up in the possession of a collector or coin enthusiast. Its copper composition is another point worth noting. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. As copper ages, it oxidizes and changes color, especially when exposed to moisture or improper storage conditions. A coin in bad condition may also exhibit corrosion, green or dark brown discoloration, and possible environmental damage. These changes can further obscure the design and make the coin harder to grade, but they are part of the coin's life story and contribute to its uniqueness. In the collector market, a coin like this would not fetch high prices. Its value may range from just a few cents to perhaps $1, depending on the specific level of damage and wear. However, when presented with the right narrative and context, it can still hold special interest. For instance, some collectors enjoy finding the worst condition coin of each year as a challenge. Others may include it in art or education projects to show how coins wear over time. It may even be used as a teaching tool in classrooms to demonstrate American history, currency evolution, and metal composition. Care for this coin in the future should be focused on preservation rather than restoration, attempting to clean or polish. Such a coin can further damage it and reduce any remaining collectible value. Instead, it should be stored in a safe, dry location, possibly in a coin holder to prevent further wear. Its role as a piece of American heritage deserves respect even if its surface no longer shows the sharp beauty it once had when it left the mint.